How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck would chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Okay, tongue twisters. Let's admit it, they are quite fun. But tongue twisters aren't about perfection. They're about training clarity, control, and confidence. Those are all really important attributes in improving your sound. And so today, we're working through a progression of tongue twisters, from the easy to the downright diabolical. Hi, I'm Amy, Emmy-nominated broadcaster and voice actor for more than 15 years, and this video is part vocal workout, part personal challenge. And we're going to start simple, build up to advanced in these tongue twisters, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to practice them so they actually improve your vocal delivery. Remember, the toughest one is coming at the end, so we better get warmed up with some easy ones. Okay, so let's start with some simple tongue twisters just to get our mouth muscles moving. I'm going to say each one very slowly at first. Then we're going to try it once at normal speaking speed. Then we're going to try speeding them up and see if we can get a little faster. My advice for you is to take it at your pace. So say it along with me if you can. If you stumble, pause the video and try it a couple of times on your own at that speed, or even back the video up a few seconds and try it with me again. But the idea is to only keep moving forward when you feel comfortable enough. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just when you're comfortable enough to move forward. So let's start with this one. Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Not too bad. Let's do that slowly again. Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Great. Let's try it a couple of times at a normal speaking tempo. Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Now remember, if you need to pause the video and practice it a few more times on your own, that is a-okay. Do that. Because now we're going to take it up tempo and challenge ourselves. Ready? Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Whew, that's already making my jaw work. And you see that we're hitting that CR, that cur, where your lips kind of purse together. It's a little bit of a workout, that's for sure. Let's get our mouth moving in a different kind of fashion with another relatively easy tongue twister, and it's another one of my favorites. Do you remember the one about Fuzzy Wuzzy, who was a bear? Well, let's slowly walk through this one. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? This is a really fun one. Let's do this one at a normal speaking tempo now. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? And remember, pause the video and back it up a little bit if you want to try saying it along at each tempo with me a few times before you move on. But let's try it fast now. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy, was he? Now, I know these sound kind of easy, but really you don't want to just blow past these because these simpler tongue twisters, they're training precision in your speech, not speed. The speed is just kind of the fun part to challenge yourself, but you're really training your precision. Here's a tip for you. Record yourself saying these and then play it back at all of the different tempos, and you're going to probably hear little slips in your speech and your articulation and your enunciation that maybe you didn't even hear in your own ear when you're doing it or feel in your mouth. These little baby steps are what are going to give you the muscle memory that you're going to need with your jaw and your lips and your tongue to tackle the tricky ones later on. So speaking of tricky ones, let's move up to some medium level tongue twisters with a few more consonant clusters and rhythm shifts. And this first one, S's are always a challenge for me personally. And this is one that trips me up quite often. Let's see how you do with it. I bet a lot of you are going to be more successful at this one than me. This is 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. Let's try that at a regular reading tempo. 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. Oh, I can feel that that's going to get tough when we take it up tempo, and we're going to try that right now. Good luck. 6 slippery snails slid slowly seaward. Oh, I almost lost it. How did you do? Pause it and go back. Try it a few times with me. But the next one, even though it is kind of a medium challenge, tongue twister, might be a little easier for some of you just because of the consonants that are being used. We're using the letter B much more often. And it's a little lengthier one. It really gets you to concentrate on staying precise for a longer period of time, which is really important no matter what kind of speaking profession you are in. So let's read this very slowly. Betty Botter bought some butter. But, she said, this butter's bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter, that would make my batter better. So again, we're going to say this 3 ways. Painfully slow, which we just did, a natural speaking speed, and then kind of a challenge speed. And the reason that we're doing this is not just to get your mouth used to wrapping itself around the words that we're trying to spit out, but it also, that variation in tempo forces your mouth muscles to stay really adaptable. You'll notice that when we do these at the painfully slow pace, that you're over enunciating and your mouth exaggerates its movements. Your lips and your jaw, everything is wide open and it's big. And the faster you go, the smaller the movements of your mouth and your jaw and your lips start to become until they are almost barely moving when you're at the challenge speed. And that is the purpose of practicing these things and practicing articulation and enunciation on a regular basis if you are a speaking professional, because then the more quickly that you speak, you can still sound precise in your speech because you have trained the muscles of that require you to speak in your face. You've trained them to be very precise and very articulate and hit every syllable clearly so that you come across much more clear in your speech. So let's now try Betty Botter at a normal speaking tempo. Betty Botter bought some butter. But, she said, this butter's bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter, that would make my batter better. It's pretty fun. This is actually even only an excerpt. This whole tongue twister is actually even longer than this, but I just took kind of the best part of it at the beginning. So let's go back now and let's try Betty Botter at a super fast tempo. Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said, this butter's bitter. If I bake this bitter butter, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter, that would make my batter better. Part of it is just practicing being able to physically read at a faster tempo, which is a skill set all unto itself. So you're actually kind of training yourself in 2 ways with this video and these exercises today. You're training yourself to read at different tempos, but you're also training your mouth on how to get through enunciation and articulation in a much more clear way. That one, I bet you're going to want to pause the video and go back and try repeating it a few times. And by the way, if you're really serious about improving your voiceover or speaking career, I actually share practical tips every week in my free newsletter. It's a lot of behind the scenes and business guidance for being a freelance speaking professional. And a lot of it is geared towards voice actors, but there's so much content in it that can help anyone in a speaking profession. If you'd like to check that out, it is, again, a free newsletter, and you'll find the sign up link for it down below in the video description. All right, so now we have arrived at some hard tongue twisters. Don't be afraid. We're going to tackle these together. And the first one is a doozy. Are you ready? How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? Oh boy. How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? Let's try that at a regular tempo. How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? Take a deep breath because we're going to try this up tempo, and this is not an easy one. So don't be afraid if you stumble and have to do this quite a few times before you can get through the whole thing. How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? Woo! I think I got lucky that time. Let's try it one more time. How can a clam cram in a clean cream can? Oh boy. Even I think I need to go back and do that one a few times. If you need to do that, don't sweat it. Go ahead and do that. Tongue twisters like this look impossible at first. If you're having trouble with some of these, here's my tip for you. Break them into sections. Say the first half of the sentence 5 times really slowly, then speed it up to a regular tempo, then speed it up to a really high tempo. Then do the same thing with the second half of the sentence. And then you can start to put them together. You kind of build it like a Lego set. Exaggerate your diction first, then relax into that conversational speed. Keep pausing the video as many times as you can. Don't worry, I'm going to be here when you're ready to come back. You just have to hit play again. And I also recommend adding this to a playlist of yours so that you can come back to it maybe once a week, a couple times a month, and do it again with me. Keep practicing, and your speech is going to get so much clearer as you train your mouth muscles how to do these things. I also want to know, so far, which one of these is completely wrecking you? I think the clams and the cream can has probably been the hardest for me so far. Drop a comment down below. Tell me which one is your favorite, but also tell me the one that you are really struggling with the most. And then I want you to tell me later when you finally master it, because we want to celebrate that. Okay. This is the one that linguists and speech scientists often crown as one of the hardest tongue twisters in the English language. This one, I don't know that I'll get through this on the challenge speed. The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. The key thing here is breaking down what the sentence actually means so that your brain can process what it is that you're trying to say. So there are at least six sheiks, and the sixth one is sick. And this sheik has a bunch of sheep, and so this sixth sick sheik, well, his sixth sheep is also sick. Let's try it at a normal reading pace, and go ahead and go back and do it slowly as many times as you need to. The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. The sixth got me. The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. Okay, deep breaths, because we are going to try this at the challenge pace. And I might not make it through. You keep going, even if I stumble and mess up, okay? The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. Okay, I got through it, but I don't know how well articulated it was. I think I ran some things together there. I'm going to try it one more time. You can come along with me. Nope. One more time. The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. So I need some work on that one, obviously, because yes, I can get through it, but it is not well enunciated. So I have some work to do. How are you doing with it? Don't worry if yours sounds like a train wreck. That's kind of the whole point. If you are an athlete, the way to supercharge your training is to run hill sprints, which nobody likes to do. They're painful, they're not very fun, but they really help your endurance. Well, tongue twisters like this are kind of like running hill sprints for your voice. They aren't about showing off. They are helping you build precision, agility, and confidence in your vocal delivery, because the muscles of your mouth and jaw and your throat are the tools in your toolbox to Practice your profession every single day, no matter what kind of speaker you happen to be. So if you're ready to keep training, you're also going to want to check out my video on daily articulation exercises. I'm going to link it right here on the screen. Be sure to check it out. Keep practicing those tongue twisters, and I'll see you again with more soon.